Okay, so here we have the Silver or Polaris 2002. This has been a 2-year project. I bought the car painted with nothing else on it, a shell. As you can see, the interior is still a shell, and we'll get to that next. But right now, we have the rear end was the first to be rebuilt. Conventional components, Bilstein shocks, nothing special in the sway bar. The front suspension was next to be built with a 19mm sway bar, Bilstein shocks, all new bushings, urethane. Of course, the motor gets bolted to that subframe and it was lifted up into the car. Then we connected the driveline, new guy bow, beautiful stainless steel drive shaft. So we're to this point where I have connected up everything, and this has been weeks. It took a lot longer than I thought it would take. This is the 320i radiator. In front of it is a brand new air conditioning condenser for the Clarity system. In front of that is a Permacool 12-inch electric fan. As you can see in the front end, I have the flat Bosch H4s. The grill looks pretty decent. It's not new, used. And then back in the engine bay, it's really conventional, a Weber 3236. I do have a Crane XR3000 electronic box, and as you can see, I have the wires tucked and wrapped. Here's the Molex connector that runs into the optical unit and trigger inside the distributor. New Bosch wires, nothing special. A Bosch red coil, there's no resistance in the system. I ran a 14 gauge wire from the number 12 fuse through the loom to the coil. I do have spark. NGK BP5 plugs, they run much better in my other car, so I put the 5s in this one. There's a stall type header feeding no exhaust, so when we start this thing up I suspect it's going to be a little loud. I've already pre-fed the carburetor, checked the oil, antifreeze, transmission fluid, rear end fluid, we're all good. The fan is hooked up through this relay right here. I'm taking my power feed right here off of the horn relay, and there's a 20 amp fuse in line right here, feeding the relay and eventually the fan. The ground for the fan is hooked up just behind the, just outside the battery mount there. It's actually hooked up to one of the battery mount screws. That's all I can think of for now. We're going to wheel this thing outside because we're not going to try to start it inside. Okay? See you outside.